Let's be real. We're all hooked on automation. I mean, those simple tools that connect our apps, they're basically the lifeblood of any modern business. But there's a problem. What happens when simple just doesn't cut it anymore? You know the feeling. Your business starts to scale, your workflows become these intricate webs, and all of a sudden, data security isn't just a checkbox, it's mission critical. And that's the moment you realize the simple tools that got you here, they just can't take you where you need to go. You hit a point of diminishing returns. We call it the automation wall. And it's built out of things like rising costs, inflexible logic, and some pretty serious data compliance roadblocks. It's a common problem for sure, but breaking through it is absolutely essential for growth. So let's take a closer look at what this wall is actually made of. Because, recognizing these roadblocks is the very first step to tearing them down for good. And you can see how these things they snowball, right? Your operations get more complex, so you need more steps in your workflow. Well, more steps mean higher costs on those paper task platforms. And while that's happening, your IT department is raising red flags about sensitive customer data living on some third-party cloud, and the pre-built actions just don't have the custom logic you desperately need. Sound familiar? So if that's the wall, what's the sledgehammer? Well, turns out there's a tool built specifically to do just that, to take on these scaling challenges head-on. And it's called n8n. At its core, n9n, which stands for nodemation, is a visual workflow builder. And this analogy of a digital assembly line, it is perfect. Each station or node performs a very specific task, and you just draw the lines to connect them, directing the flow of your data and processes. But its real power? Well, that lies a little deeper. So, what's the secret sauce here? What gives n8n its punch? It really comes down to 3 core pillars that set it way apart from the crowd. Let's break them down. First up, and honestly, for a lot of businesses, this is the most important one, data control. Because n8 is open source, you can install and run it on your own infrastructure. This is a total game changer. It means your sensitive customer data, patient records, internal financials, none of it ever has to leave your secure environment. This single feature solves a massive compliance headache right out of the box. Second is flexibility. Look, no-code tools are great until you hit their limits. n8n solves this brilliantly by being low-code. You get that incredible speed of a visual drag-and-drop interface, but if you need a really specific data transformation or a unique API call that nobody's thought of yet, you just drop in a code node and write a few lines of JavaScript or Python. It is truly the best of both worlds. And third, cost efficiency. Think about it. So many platforms charge you for every single tiny task. A complex workflow that filters thousands of items could run up a massive bill. The n8n self-hosted model completely flips that script. Because you're running it yourself, you aren't penalized for creating powerful, high-volume, or multi-step workflows. And when you put it all side by side like this, the fundamental difference in philosophy is it's crystal clear. With traditional tools, your data is on their cloud, your flexibility is limited by their options, and your cost scales with every single task. With n8n, you control your data, you have the flexibility to code anything you want, and the cost model actually encourages complexity instead of punishing it. Okay, so that's all the theory, but what does this power actually look like in practice? Let's walk through a few real-world examples of what people are actually building with n8n. Here's a great one for any marketing team out there. A new idea gets added to a Notion calendar. That triggers the workflow. Then, n8n acts as an AI orchestrator, calling out to an AI model to generate a first draft. It saves that draft for a human to review, and once it gets the thumbs up, it automatically schedules and distributes the content across all your social channels. It's basically an AI agent handling the entire first mile of content creation for you. All right, now for something a little more high stakes. This is where n8n's ability to handle complex logic really shines. A server monitoring tool detects an error. The n8n workflow instantly checks the severity level. If it's a high-priority P1 alert, the workflow branches. It simultaneously creates a Jira ticket, sends a push notification to the engineer on call, and even attempts a basic mitigation step like a server reboot, all while logging the outcome. That is a truly resilient, automated response. And for HR, think about the life cycle of an employee. When a candidate status changes to hired, a workflow can instantly provision all their accounts in parallel. We're talking Slack, G Suite, internal databases, the whole shebang. But just as importantly, a similar offboarding workflow can instantly revoke all access the moment they depart, closing what is usually a major security gap. So, if you're feeling the constraints of simple automation, or if your business just demands absolute control over its data and processes, well, n8n represents a really clear and powerful next step. Ultimately, it comes down to this. N8n fills that essential gap. It's the bridge between those easy to use but kind of limited tools and the powerful but way more complex world of custom software development. It gives you the power of both. I love this line because it nails it. Built for complexity, designed for control. It's a tool that embraces your complex processes while putting you, the user, firmly in the driver's seat. Honestly, the best way to really grasp the potential here is to just see it for yourself. If you go and search for n8n community templates, you'll find a massive library of incredible workflows that people have already built and shared. You can see the nodes, the logic, the sheer power in action. It's pretty cool. So, the final question is really for you. If you've hit that automation wall, you now know there's a powerful way to not just climb over it, but to tear it down completely.